I just finished breaking down TJR Trade's $800,000 per month sales funnel. And so today I'm going to be breaking down everything from the VSL scripts, from his actual type form, as well as his 2 different webinar funnel plus VSL funnels, as well as his YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, clipping, everything in between. So without any further ado, let's just get straight into it. So his funnel starts off with the clipping pages. Here he's going to get an absolute metric ton of eyeballs because he has over 100,000 followers on this clipping account, 58,000 followers on this clipping account. And these clipping accounts are just going to post these very high stakes moments that'll get, 300 or 3,000 views, sometimes 150,000 views, 156,000 views. Depending on the clip, they can vary a lot. This is why TikTok is horrendous for actually building a personal brand by yourself. But for clipping, it is the greatest platform ever because you can have so many people see your face constantly everywhere. So he's hired all these clippers for like $5 a clip, right? And they're all just churning out as many clips as physically possible. And they are all specifying that they are obviously not TJR, they're clips. Otherwise, they're going to link to his tjrtrades.com/profit link right here, and this is going to go to this page, which is the VSL funnel. The reason he's going to the VSL funnel is that's just because that is the first step of his kind of overall funnel. Now, what is very odd to me is that throughout this entire system, the webinar is not actually being used for what it's supposed to be used for. So webinars are actually for nurturing audiences that really aren't nurtured, for example, TikTok audiences or IG audiences. And for whatever reason, he's actually flipped the script and moved it to YouTube, which is a pretty stupid mistake, all things considered, but he is pretty new to webinars, so that might be the reason. Now, pretty rookie mistake, but it's very probably the reason is probably because he's pretty new to webinars. He doesn't know exactly which platform to be putting them on right now, and that's probably why he's trying to test that out on the most nurtured platform. That could be reason A, or reason number B, it could also just be that he is clueless that he has to actually put it on a less nurtured platform, though I doubt it. So otherwise, these clipping pages are always going to funnel into this page right here, but we're going to get into that in a second after we actually break down the biggest personal brand builder of the bunch, which is the main TJR Instagram. Now, this is the Instagram page that TJR has at over 1 million followers. Killtech, Floor Boss, blah, blah, blah. Now, Killtech right here is his merch company, builds a little bit of authority. TJR Trades, this is his alt account. Floor Boss, this is just a bit of his personality. And then click here to learn from me directly is his CTA, going to the Get Blueprint. Now, every single time he goes and redirects you there, you always have a UTM link. So if you notice right here, about landing page URL, tjrtrades.com, and then before it says YT. Now, this is because obviously the link came from YouTube, this one. But every single time it's a completely different link depending on which platform you go to. And interestingly, he actually IDs you as a customer as well right here. So he can track you throughout the customer journey no matter wherever you go. So he knows a lot of stuff. So he has a lot of data just tracking you constantly no matter where you go. For the actual story sequences here, or story highlights, sorry, he has a lot of testimonials. Now, this is what you should be doing as a coach. Now, this is more B2B, right? I would spam testimonials in B2B. You can't ever you're not ever going too hard on testimonials, all things considered. But I'd recommend he have this life story highlight. Like, this is really good. He should just keep this here. A bit more lifestyle would be really nice as well. He just spams testimonials. Now, that's a strategy you can go for. I'd mostly recommend this just for B2B again. For B2C, just have more lifestyle stuff, have a bit more personality stuff, as well as like a my story highlight. That's absolutely amazing for B2C because you're actually able to illustrate that, hey, I came from zero and I was even more retarded than you when I began, but now I'm at a point where I'm making, this amount of money with this exact business model. That is the dream business model, and you should get into it as well because I did. So for the content itself, this is just also kind of clips, to be completely honest. But in there, he mixes in a few talking heads, like for example, right here, just sharing opinions. Also, a lot of the time, just doing a lot of controversial stuff, doing a lot of retarded stuff, all things considered. But that's the stuff that gets views for him, right? He's just trying to go all in on virality. So that's why he's making this kind of content. Now, if you want to actually emulate this personal brand, you would go for all top of funnel. Now, I would never recommend emulating the TJR or Brez personal brand, and I'll get into those reasons a little bit later. You'll see them throughout the funnel, throughout especially the type form, the form submissions, all that stuff. But otherwise, you just don't want to build a very kind of non-niched audience, like this is going to get you a lot of views. You're going to become popular and famous, but you're not going to make as much money as if you actually made a micro-niched funnel. Like a lot of people make a micro-niched funnel, you might not even know about them, and they make far more than TJR. Like for example, William Brown at his peak was making far more than TJR was, and he was making a very micro-niched type of thing or type of YouTube channel, to the point where he was getting every 600 views, he was getting a client, and that client was like $20,000, $10,000, which is pretty wild. So you want to never go for this kind of super visibility tactic stuff. But one thing that is a saving grace for TJR's funnel, and one of the reasons I absolutely just like breaking down his funnel in general, is just because of his YouTube. Now, TJR is a master at YouTube, to be completely honest. He has 1.5 million subscribers, and he's quite literally the best at YouTube in terms of just in the coaching space. Other than maybe Mark Builds Brands, he definitely has a pass for that. So for TJR, what he does is that he will post VODs. Now, he pioneered the strategy of just posting live day trading VODs throughout his YouTube. Now, what you will notice is that there are a lot of points where he'll say he's losing money. And this is because he's trying to build a little bit of vulnerability. He's showing that, hey, I'm not a guru. I'm not saying, oh my God, you're always going to make money. I'm also showing you my losses so you can learn from me. But that just makes the wins even greater, right? But at the same time, he makes sure that obviously over the months he's always profitable, up to $500,000, $1 million every single month with day trading. Now, every once in a while, this is about every 3 videos, just about, he will sprinkle in one of these super top of funnel videos. And that's why I was saying, like, he's just really good at YouTube. Now, his top of funnel videos, he just wants to get even more and more views. I swap lives with a broke trader for 24 hours, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff is very entertainment style. Like, he used to make less entertainment style content. This is even worse than his old lifestyle stuff. To be completely honest, you should model everything other than this kind of stuff. This just doesn't make any sense. Now, this I can get behind. This is a middle of funnel video that actually allows people to go into the bottom of funnel of his live day trading, right? So it's like a little bit of a bridge. This gives it a lot of value. Think of it like a full course video. That is what a middle of funnel video kind of pertains to. So you always want to make more so middle of funnel and bottom of funnel videos. There is something called bottom of funnel burn, which means that if you make too much bottom of funnel content, people are just not going to watch you. And that's probably why he's mixed in these top of funnels, because he noticed that. But I just say, instead of trying to go super broad like this, entertainment style, I would say just make more middle of funnel content to replace that bottom of funnel. And then maybe every once in a while you can make like a lifestyle video if you really want that lifestyle stuff. You know, that Samuel Onaha life, TJR, Brez, that kind of brand. If you want to grow to that point, that's what you should be doing. Now, for the links themselves in the YouTube, there's actually 2. As I mentioned, he makes you go to the webinar and the day trading blueprint. I do not know why he has IG on this. I assume he just repurposed it, but they understand that obviously this is coming from YouTube. Now, this is all going to go straight over to these 2 different funnels, and these are the 2 different funnels I mentioned in the beginning of the video, and you might have been waiting for these. Now, again, UTM tracking for both of these. UTM tracking means just they add a little bit of a trailer on the link, and so he knows if you come from YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, everything like that, and then they can ID you, kind of like TSA, bro. They can ID you and make sure that they know exactly who is coming into the funnel, and so they are able to track every single point of the customer journey, from like going from content all the way to your page. Like the moment you click on this page, you're tracked. You're gone, like you're cooked, you know. Now he knows who you are, and whenever you go anywhere, now he will know where you went in his funnel. Obviously, he's not the CIA, but just in his funnel in general, he will know exactly where you go. Now, this is actually, I'll go ahead and break down the VSL funnel first, because the webinar funnel is something I'll just get to around the end of the video. The VSL funnel is something that he's been running for a while. Now, this is an obnoxious ass player. He should not be using this. This is like, I don't know if you wanted to be just unique with this player. It just doesn't make any sense. Really not a good player. What you want to be using is like Vimeo, Wistia. Something I've seen getting a bit more traction is, I believe it's something called YT something, player or whatever. Not sure completely, but there's a recent player that's been getting quite a lot of attention. Now, we personally just use Wistia and Vimeo for now, for our clients in general. So you can also use that. It's really don't need to overcomplicate it. I've heard that a lot of the other stuff is just over like $100, $200 a month. But if you want to start free, just use Vimeo, Wistia, all that stuff. So underneath the video, this is going to be a VSL that just goes ahead and makes your pains apparent. It's like, okay, you are a broke day trader. I've helped these people make so much money. You should buy from me. That's a gross oversimplification, but I have a lot of videos where I break down the VSL on my channel, so you can just check one of those out somewhere on the screen here. So otherwise, we're going to get into the actual form itself. Now, for the form, are you serious about becoming a profitable day trader? That's what you will see. If not, stop and leave this page. Instantly, he's just disqualifying you. And the reason he's even asking this question, you might think it's redundant, but the reason he's asking this question is just to get you to have some skin in the game, because you now answered a question. Now you don't want to go against, like throughout this type form, you don't want to go against your own judgment of, oh my God, I wanted to become a profitable trader, but if I go back now, if I backtrack, I'm actually like contradicting my earlier statement. And by them making that statement, they are way, way more likely to actually stay through the type form. So you can say, yes or no. Obviously, if you want to say yes, if you want to move forward. Now, the moment that happens, like it's going to move you to a full page type form. Very interesting thing. I believe he's probably using something new instead of type form, because I don't believe type form has a feature like this. I wouldn't know though. So what's the number one obstacle standing between you and trading success? Risk management, blah, 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 experience level. Now, this is just making sure that we know, okay, the closer, knows the exact pain point that they have so that they can accept it on the call. They can take advantage of it. So let's say risk management. How old are you today? This is one of the many examples of where he has to compensate for his pretty shitty audience with a ton of questions in the type form. Like here, he's going to have 6, right? Me personally, we have about 3 to 4, just the most mandatory questions to ask for email, address, and phone number, all that stuff. But he has to have 5 to 6 to 7, 8 even questions I've seen at times, because he has to ask a lot of qualification, like how old are you today, blah, 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 So let's say if you say I'm under 18, he's just going to redirect you to some another page and a completely other form, interestingly. But if you pick, I believe, anything else, it'll take you to, it'll just take you to the next question. So as you can see, like this is what you would be redirected to if you were under 18. And so let's go on this path as well. So what would you hope to gain out of working directly with TJR and improving with day trading? The reason he's only added this for the actual under 18ers is just because he wants to make sure that you actually are motivated enough to move forward. And so that's why he's added what's called a throwaway question. Now, a throwaway question is just a question that you don't want anyone to actually answer. You don't give a shit if they answer. You just want to add more friction, make them type stuff out and do some extra work for no reason at all. You're not going to read this. Nobody's reading this. Just to basically make sure that, hey, this person actually is motivated and wants to move forward with this. They have that amount of conviction, right? So you can literally just write bullshit here and it won't matter. He's going to get your contact details, obviously. Now you can just put in whatever the hell you want, right? Then he moves over to share a bit more about your trading journey if possible. Again, another throwaway question. He does not care about this. Now, maybe he gives this to the closer to have a little bit more information, but that is literally the only reason that could possibly be here. If he wanted you to not feel friction, he would add a multiple choice, because multiple choice questions reduce friction by an absolute metric ton. These kinds of questions are the highest friction questions, and 90% of the time they're just throwaway. So I can just type random crap here and it'll work. Now at this point, it's going to go ahead and redirect me somewhere if I press submit. So it should redirect you right over to a low ticket. Here, this is another short VSL that is going to downsell people into your $100 bundle. Now, this is something that is called a hidden downsell. Now, I've actually covered this earlier. He had a different type of hidden downsell where he would look at your specific, culture, or your location through your IP address and then redirect you, depending on where you actually lived, to a cheaper $15 ebook. Now, this is a more tame version where he's redirecting you after asking you whether or not you're under the age of 18, because he knows you don't have any fucking money. But if the people that went through that form have, $100, they can ask their parents for like $100, maybe in their pocket money. Easy, they're able to just go ahead and pay for this. Especially if you're 16, 17, like easily, you're able to pay for this, but you're not able to pay for the $4,000, $5,000 you would need for the mentorship. And this makes sure that he can actually monetize off of the people that don't have any money, the brokies, as well as the people that do have money. And this is, again, another trait you will notice in funnels that have a very dogshit audience in terms of the content that they're putting out. For example, TJRs and also Brez. Like these people, they have to compensate in other places because their audience is so low quality. But at the same time, this also benefits him a lot because he's probably making, 50 to 100 grand a month off of just this offer, this low ticket offer, because there's a lot of people that don't have that high ticket money, but they have that low ticket money, right? We even have this like for a lot of our clients in the offers a lot of the times. So anyways, let's move forward with the main paths. And here's going to ask for your name, and I believe he's probably just going to ask for the contact information. Again, primary email and name at example.com. Getting your contact information so he can contact you later. Because at this point, he knows that you have you can pay with credit pretty easily. What would you hope to gain out of working with TJR and improving with trading? He does not read these, by the way. They're lying to you. Another throwaway question. Do you have an income source? This would only be income from your job and self-employment. And if you say no, they're just not going to go ahead and hop on a call with you. They're probably just going to redirect you to the lower ticket offer. So let's say we say yes. Yeah, and this is, again, he's just adding so many qualifying pieces to this type form. Like, goddamn, this is what you need to do in terms of compensation if you have a shitty audience. Like, just but 90% of the time, I would always just recommend make your audience good. Put out some easy to make, low effort, raw and authentic content on YouTube, Instagram. Put together the micro niche platform funnel so you can actually nurture that short form audience. Easy, hundreds of leads every single months. Every single month you can get hundreds of leads from the micro niche platform funnel that is so much more qualified than this quality of leads. As long as you're able to actually financially invest in yourself, it'll take you right over to the main offer. That's why we're actually and unless you were actually able to invest on the bottom two options, it would take you over to the indicator page that we got if you're under 18. So as you can see, it'll tell you to book your onboarding call. Yeah, but otherwise it's going to take you to the main booking page, which is just going to be a calendar booking, and bang, that is going to be your entire funnel for TJR. Now, otherwise, the webinar funnel is in and of itself very, very basic. How a trader with XYZ and 2 years of losses got his first ever payout. Promise. He does this every single Sunday, every week, basically. And the moment you go ahead and fill out this form, it's just going to take you to a page where he's going to have you join the Telegram group, where he's going to give you regular reminders over time. Super basic reminders. I've actually gone over this in another funnel breakdown. So that's the entire breakdown of TJR Trade's $800,000 per month sales funnel. Now, again, he's a beginner in the sense of webinars, and obviously now he's mainly just a pro in the sense of VSL funnels because he's been doing that for a while, except for this right here. That is not a pro move, but otherwise he is pretty good at VSL funnels. Webinars could be better just because I don't believe he understands where webinars are actually supposed to even go. But yeah, that's the full breakdown of TJR Trade's a full $800,000 per month sales funnel. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to book a call with me to build out a funnel similar to this, I'll leave a link in the description. Have a good one. Peace.